cranny. Now we've blown our piece out to our mold, but there is no way to break this piece free from the rod. We used a torch that's about 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit right on the very end of the piece. We will now start a constriction or a break-off point using a tool called the jacks here shortly. We can also create that crevice by rolling on the end of either the bench or the table we have here. Again, we are creating a small neckline for the piece to be broken free. The tool Tanner is now using, it's called the jacks. It's the Swiss Army knife, a glass making. There is so many different ways we can use this tool. By squeezing down both blades though, we are essentially reassuring that that constriction is right there. The jacks that we use down here, we do slide on some beeswax. That is this material you see on the end of the bench. We use beeswax for some tools, so we're not scratching the surface of the glass, or rather sliding and slipping. The next step for this piece is to set it into a cool down oven. If we let this glass piece out here in the center of the hot shop, it's just going to break, crack, and explode. It will get too cold too quick. We are now letting that glass cool down. Again, on your left-hand side, the black oven with the green number 1 will be the home of this piece for the next 24 hours. Depending on the thickness of the glass, it can stay in that oven for a couple hours, a couple days, even a couple weeks, all depending again on the thickness of the glass. To break this piece free, we are now adding a couple drops of water on that jack line we made. Again, that crevice. Now, water is extremely bad to hot glass because it causes it to break and crack. Now with the little tap here, it's gonna break free from the rod. A little tap, and just like that, we have finished a piece. Now can we give our visiting artist Tanner Clark a round of applause? Now, do we have any questions from the audience? Any questions you might have about the process you just saw? Okay, that's a great question. The wooden blocks that we use, why isn't steam created on contact? So this is a funny thing about these wooden blocks. They live in water their whole lives. They only come out of this water either to be cleaned or used. The wood we use is very special. It's a fruit wood. We love using fruit woods because they contain a lot of moisture and they don't burn out as easily. On contact, a layer of steam is created, and that's what we ride on. We actually don't burn the wood right away. When you begin to see the steam from the block coming out, it is then sending smoke signals that it needs more water. We had a question about color, and we will now begin to use color. Down here again, we have a garage. It is a temporary place where we can store glass, keep it nice and warm. It's about 1,000 degrees inside. We have our color bar that's been preheating. It's been getting nice and warm. We typically let it preheat for about 1 hour before we pick it up. So it's been sitting in there for a nice good amount of time. We gathered some glass, use it to support the color that we now have. We lift the rod just a bit so it can get a little bit of hot. Hot air does like to rise. And this is the beginning, absorb more energy. Well, the color black in glass blowing absorbs heat really quickly, but white does not. Now, as we shape that white solid bar of glass, I'm going to talk a little bit about our visiting artist here today. Again, Tanner Clark, a Kansas native, and he is a graduate from Emporia State College. He began his glass career in 2003 in a high school, which is quite incredible. There's not a lot of glass blowing programs in high school, but Tanner did attend one of the few, and that is where he began his glass career. Now, he has worked with some of the most renowned glass artists. As I talk a little bit about our visiting artist, here on our top screen, we're going to get some images of his current work. Some names that Tanner has worked with range from Ross Richmond to Scott Darlington, and even Michael Shunke, which some of you might know him as the Goblet Ninja. Again, he has relationships with a lot of different famous glass blowers. And he also happens to be the recipient of the 2016 Shirley Scholarship in Glass from So taking a couple steps back again, he is the recipient of the John and Mary Shirley Scholarship in Glass from Pratt Fine Arts Center.